with Michael Jackson, and Emmanuel Lewis was with him.
No kidding.
Yeah.
He was here with Webster?
Yeah.
And what did they get? Do you remember?
God, he spent probably $1,000 on.
Is that new records, Mark?
Something for a record store day. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Probably the goodie box, the freebies.
Oh, okay, yeah, posters and so forth.
Yeah. Mark Gunter, manager, Fantasyland Records, Atlanta, Georgia.
And you guys have stuff here beyond just records. You have ephemera and stuff.
Yeah, we get all kinds of things. We've been here 47 years and never know what's going to come in the door. All kinds of collectibles and besides records. Like these Who items that we purchased from a local record company executive who had unfortunately passed away. He was the manager for the Atlanta Rhythm section in the early 80s and Cyndi Lauper. And he worked with the Who on the Tommy movie in the mid-70s in 1975. So he had all these cool promotional items from the premiere of the movie in Los Angeles. We had promotional copies of the Tommy soundtrack that were signed by Pete Townsend, Anne Margaret, and Elton John. And some promotional t-shirts. And a box of Tommy cigarettes. I'm not sure what the cigarettes had to do with the movie.
I don't know. I mean, Anne Margaret's character smoked cigarettes, I think, with us, but I don't know that they had that specific look or anything.
Yeah, it had something to do with it. And this is neat. It's a still sealed promotional record store in-store promo 8-track, which would loop around. Stores would play it on their system in the store. Oh, it's a 20-minute in-store promotion. So it could have like talking about the movie or something.
Right. So we don't know. That's still sealed. We don't know what that sounds like.
Yeah, still sealed. I'm sure it has some tracks from the movie and maybe some interviews with some of the
right, or it's telling you to go see it,
or Elton or someone. And this plastic lucite movie premiere RSVP invitation that they sent out to people to RSVP back for the invites for the premiere of the movie in Hollywood. No, it was in New York City. Yeah, because 57th Street subway station, so that'd obviously be in New York and not LA. So the premiere in New York.
When you got the stuff, did you talk to his family about it at all? Or
it was his wife.
Yeah.
Who was selling off a lot of his collection.
Did she have any memories around it?
She didn't really mention much about that. Just that it was kind of a crazy time. They were living in LA, and I think they had an office in New York before they moved to Atlanta sometime in the 80s, maybe when he began managing the Atlanta Rhythm section. And then Cyndi Lauper later in the 80s. We bought a lot of her memorabilia too, gold records, platinum records, Donnie and Marie, platinum gold album looking at on the wall over there.
So you've been here for 47 years. How long have you been working here?
I've been working here since 1979, so that would be about 44 years.
What are some of the coolest things you've seen come through? I think
Oh gosh.
you said you had a first state butcher cover.
Yeah, we've had a first state butcher, second, third over the years. I don't know, over 47 years, we maybe had 6 or 7 total butcher covers. It's kind of funny, we went probably 15, 20 years without getting a single one, and then 2 or 3 years ago, we got 3 in the same year.
Interesting.
First state, a peeled one, and then a third state. So, yeah, see all kinds of things.
You ever had any rock stars come in here to get records?
Oh yeah, all kinds. Elvis Costello, Robert Plant.
Oh yeah, Robert Plant came in here. What did he
came in.
get?
That was probably the early 90s, mid 90s. He bought a big box of 8-tracks. They were on tour, solo tour. He was playing at the Fox Theater here in town, and he had bought a convertible, early 70s Chevrolet convertible out in Texas. He was driving it behind the van, and it had an 8-track player in it. So when he got to Atlanta, he asked if anybody knew of any stores that might have some 8-tracks that he could play on the road. And he came in. It's real cool.
Nice.
Good guy. Bought
And so-
about 30 or 40 8-tracks.
Nice. Clapton came in?
Eric Clapton came in twice, once early 90s and another time maybe 4 or 5 years later. Yeah, bought some records. Nice. Autographed some things.
Really? Do they, when they come in, do they just sign all the records in the Led Zeppelin bin or the Clapton bin?
Well, if anybody recognized them, they're always cool. They never did turn anybody down. Of course, Robert Plant got recognized, but he was cool, nice to everybody.
What did Clapton buy?
I'm trying to remember. I showed him the blues section, obviously, but he barely even looked at him and said, "I'm sure I have all those."
Right.
So, but maybe some old gospel records I think he may have bought. Michael Jackson came in once.
Really?
Yeah, that was sometime back in the 90s.
Did they call ahead and close the store?
No, they just pulled up. A big black limousine pulled up, and his driver came in and into the store just by himself and kind of looked around just to see if everything was cool, scouted it out. He went back outside. We didn't know, who he was, and came back in. And with Michael Jackson and Emmanuel Lewis was with him.
No kidding. Yeah. He was here with Webster?
Yeah.
And what did they get? Do you remember?
God, he spent probably $1,000 on a couple of boxes full of records. Bought a lot of Beatles, of course, and just all kinds, mostly vinyl records.
And did he buy any records for Webster, Emmanuel Lewis?
No, I don't think Emmanuel Lewis said a single word the entire time he was in.
Really?
And just kind of followed him around and looked around, but
did they have a monkey with them or anything?
no monkeys.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was strange. He was wearing a scarf over his face, and a hat, and Michael Jackson.
Were there fans in here?
No, I don't. Well,
was it quiet like it is this morning?
There were maybe 3 or 4 people. From what I remember, just kind of looking around. Of course, they didn't expect Michael Jackson to be in the
So they
store.
didn't. Nobody said, "Can you autograph Thriller for me?"
I don't recall anybody ever asking him any of that. And I didn't even ask him for anything. I just didn't want to bother him.
Yeah.
But,
wow.
Anyway, that was cool.
It
Peter Buck used to come in a lot back in the 80s and 90s when he lived in Athens. I think he lives out in Portland now, so he doesn't come in very often. And
now,
he was always cool.
Have you always been in this location?
No, we've been here since 2010. We were up on Peachtree.
Oh, okay.
Just around the corner, just a couple minutes away. Originally from 1976 till 2010. And
you ever get Outkast in here?
Andre 3000's been in. Yeah, Andre. He's the nicest guy in the world. Yeah, really nice. He's been in 3 or 4 times.
Does he come? Has he been in here recently?
Not recently. It's probably been maybe 10, 15 years since he's been in. But he used to come in quite often back in the late 90s, early to mid 2000s. Mostly at, I don't think, he hasn't been into this location, but he came in quite often back in the old location.
Did he buy a lot of jazz?
Can't recall what he bought. Yeah, but lots of records and CDs. Yeah.
Very cool. Mark, thank you so much for talking to us.
Sure.
And anything that people should know about coming to Fantasyland?
Well, have Record Store Day coming up on Saturday, April 20th.
Right on.
Lots of cool limited edition releases. We'll open at 10, so be here early.
Right on. Thanks,
All right.
man.
Yep.